Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Live. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing pretty all right. Let's go all the way to the top here. I was in here a couple minutes ago perusing the comments. We did have starting out with a question. Is it okay to have a fermentation jar going half full? I bought a crock and my sauerkraut only fills half of it. It's not necessarily recommended. It's not. The only reason I say that is because there's so much oxygen inside of the jar, and oxygen is kind of the enemy in proper fermentation, at least like a vegetable fermentation. So it's not ideal. It'll still ferment. You just have a much more likelihood that things will go kind of wonky. Let me see. Check today. Bought a crock. It doesn't say how long it took, but it says that the started yesterday, checked today, and the water in the rim had evaporated. Add salt to it. Make a brine with it, like a tip, like what you would add to a fermentation with like the 2% salt brine. I usually add a 2% salt brine to it. It reduces the evaporation. It'll still evaporate, but it reduces it greatly, and less likelihood of pests getting in there, because it's a fermentation. Pests will be attracted to it, and they're less. I found, I don't have any scientific proof. I didn't read it anywhere. It's just I find, because I use water seal crocks pretty exclusively when I was doing the business end of it, and I had almost no problem with it whatsoever. So, anywho'ser, ready even though I'm at the office working. Nice. Tater, hello. Northwest Georgia, getting things ready before a live start. So we'll be back and forth. Awesome. Three Willows Farm. Diana, Monique. Let's see if I can scroll down without zooming down. Becky and Cheryl and Lisa. Hello, everybody. Just going to kind of zoom down here a little bit. As soon as I get to a certain point, it just like skips everything. Just like that. Sage and Stone Homestead. Oh my gosh, you sent me the link last time, and you're using a different comment picker. So I pulled that one up. So hopefully that'll work on my end today. That'll be amazing. And Tiffany, hello. Alaska Little Homestead, hello. Oh gosh, I'm moving stuff all around here, weird and wonky. 4 hours. Yep. A lot of different time zone differences today. Well, pretty much every day. Can you make kvass from any fruit? My understanding is yes. I have tried very few of them, though. Kvass is basically just a fermented drink. So, I mean, it works. Kind of like kombucha. I got my boot shirt. Oh, tilt this way. I like it. It's cute. About the water seal crock. Gig Harbor, here in my old stomping grounds. Thanks for answering. You're welcome. I heard of people using oil instead of water. I have heard that too, but I'm just a little bit more apprehensive about using oil in fermentation. I don't know why. I just am. Love that shirt. I know, right? I love this thing. It is available if you guys want it. It's in the link down below. You can check them out. And it's also an option for whoever wins the boot shirt today. There's no T, Tiffany. It's just booch. But yeah, so this one is one of the ones that's available. Just started another kimchi. Love it. I hate making kimchi. It's one of my favorite ferments to eat, but it is definitely one of my least favorite ones to make. Would it be okay to add more cabbage to the crock? I wouldn't after. Well, let me rephrase that. If you did it today, I'm sure it would be fine. If you waited much longer than that, I would say it's better just to start a new ferment. Used my first sourdough and made cupcakes. Nice. Started from some fermented boiled eggs yesterday. Looking forward to trying them. Oh, I love fermented boiled eggs. They're so good. This is my first ever ferment. Love it, love it, love it. I'm so excited. So many people getting started with fermentation and following along with the collaboration. I love it. Absolutely love it. The Guinness mustard turned out so yummy, super hot, but so good. I want to try it. I love hot stuff. I love heat in all its forms. So Why some ferments call for brine from another ferment and others just use new brine. It depends on the recipe. When you add brine from another already ferment, that's called a starter culture. And that is going to have a developed colony of yeast and bacteria, depending on the ferment. And when you add that established colony to a new ferment, it's going to inoculate it with the already developed cultures. So you'll be able to guide your fermentation better. It will jumpstart the ferment much quicker. The trade-off to that is, unless you're making something like kombucha, Jun, other things that require milk kefir, water kefir, things like that require the starter culture. If you add a starter culture to sauerkraut, for example, it'll do the things before. Like if you experience a lot of mold issues in your area, or wonky ferments, right? And you have another ferment that is already established, it is already doing well, it will lower the acidity level much quicker. It will reduce the chance of it molding much more. I mean, it still has the risk of it, but it's much less likely to ferment to mold. However, the trade-offs to those is that it skips a couple steps in the fermentation, and it kind of just breezes right over those steps. So you're not going to get as good of a flavor to it. It's not going to have the depth of umami level that ferments are so well known for. It's going to be kind of a more of a mild ferment. So that's why I just choose not to do it. I like to have that nice low and slow fermentation where it just really just develops its flavor, Okay, sorry. Why do you loathe making kimchi? I'm new to fermenting, and this is the one I started with, so I did start with a hard one first. Not necessarily. I hate making kimchi because I've made it on such a large scale, and trying to peel that much. I put lemongrass in mine, so trying to peel like 50 stalks of lemongrass, like your hands are just numb by the end of it, or trying to peel that much garlic. It's the scale that I made it on is just exhausting. And not to mention, like, you're soaking like 80 pounds of Napa cabbage in the salt brine, and then you have to go and you have to rinse all the salt off the next, like, it's such an involved process when you're doing it at the scale that I was making it at. A small batch ferment is fine. It's great. It's not a big deal at all. It's just the scale I was making it at. It was kind of exhausting. Fermenting food goes so much better when I don't have wine and beer going. Did you try your sister's hot sauce? I did. It was in my last vlog that I put out. It was not spicy. My sister's a wuss. Tried my first time fermented carrots and fermented hot sauce a couple days ago. Love them both. Awesome. I have my eggs fermenting as we speak. Nice. My first time to Alive. Want to start fermenting? Well, you came to the right place. If you have any questions, let us know. Just started my eggs on Saturday. I haven't tried them yet, and I'm a bit nervous. Don't be nervous. It's delicious. What is the advantage of fermenting pesto? It's kind of the same. I don't like basil, so I don't have much familiarity with pesto. However, it just kind of follows the general principle of fermentation. It will develop the flavor, so it'll be much richer flavor. It'll taste better, and it'll also break down any kind of the fibers or anything that are in it, so it'll be easier to digest, and it'll just be more digestion friendly. Have you ever added prebiotic to your ferments? No. Well, I mean, I make SIBO yogurt and I add prebiotics to that, but in general, no. Wife also started some coffee booch. Love it. Would you suggest to the first time fermenter as a first one? Carrot sticks. Let's see if I can do this without zooming. Started fermenting garlic the other day and fermented chimichurri today. Nice. I have no idea what chimichurri is, but I know it's a sauce. Oh, it zoomed me. How was the Hawaiian hot pepper sauce? Oh, yeah. It was weak. My sister's a wuss. Can you put a ginger bug in kombucha when the second ferment doesn't get fizzy? Not for another ferment, just to have a little fuzzy at the time you are consuming. You're going to have to expand on that one. What do you mean by that? You mean like you do this, like the second fermentation is bottled, you wait a week or two or however long, and then it doesn't get fizzy. So then you add, like, it won't. I need more explanation on that one. Some of these recipes you have to add the onions. No. Is there a limit of time to how much sauerkraut you should eat daily? I bought live from the store and hooked. It depends on your bowel tolerance and your comfortability. I eat a lot. Like I'll put like a whole cup of it usually on something, or like a half a cup to a cup. But I have a very high tolerance to fermented foods because I do consume it a lot. So, and I've honestly, I myself personally, I've never experienced a Herxheimer reaction. I'm not sure why, but even when I first started. So it really depends. I would start on the low end and increase. I would not start very high if you want to avoid being uncomfortable. Can you use the juice from refrigerated ferment as a starter on a new ferment? Yes, as long as it is actually fermented. What is the most unique thing you have fermented? Probably carrot clementine kvass, and it was really good. I'm hoping to try fermenting hot sauce this year. Love it. Carrot kraut for the first time. Nice. Started honey fermented garlic yesterday. How long should it take? At least a month. I have stuff that's been going for like 3 years. Where can I learn about fermented mustard ferment? I have Florida mustard greens. Probably like Google or Pinterest. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have anybody in the past collaboration that has done that, so I'm not too sure. And I've never personally tried it, but I would say just punch it into Google, see what it comes up with. All of these ferments have been so freaking awesome. I love your group. I know, right? Isn't it awesome? I love it. I made fermented salsa and got firm thumbs up from friends in Mexico. Love it. Fermented hot sauce is one of my favorites. It is so good. Like you just don't expect the bubbliness, and it's like it's such a delightful surprise. I love it. I have turned onto a new friend to fermenting. So excited. They are doing fermented onions first. Nice. To make sure they don't ferment it too long. Otherwise, it just becomes bland and boring. Is it normal for pickled eggs to be tough? Yes. The only thing I have ever fermented before is wine. Can't wait for my supplies to get here so I can try some of these recipes. Nice. A Herxheimer reaction. Not easily eating half a cup daily and quite new to it. Herxheimer, I believe he was a person. I would assume it was named after the person who discovered it. It's basically when you are not used to consuming ferments, you consume a lot of ferments, right? The ferment is the bacteria and enzymes, all the stuff that is inside of that ferment is intended to inoculate your digestive tract. And if you consume too much of them, like they do what they're supposed to do, like they go to war inside of your gut, and they go to war against all the bad stuff that is inside of your gut. And that process on a large scale can be painful, or it can feel painful. It's basically just stuff going on inside your gut. So if you consume a lot, you'll get a big one. If you consume and slowly amp up your ingestion of it, it will be more pleasant. Someone did collard greens once. Probably should be close to mustard greens. It probably would be, yeah. Bought to plant some bok choy in the garden. About to plant some bok choy in the garden. Planning to try some new recipes soon. Maybe some peppers with it. Sounds delicious. They don't live far, so I need to pop in and see if I can. I think someone made mustard kraut. Yeah, I think it was a collard kraut, I think. If you don't do hot, try fermented ketchup. Yep. My grown son was diagnosed with C and flu B on Friday. I just got him to eat garlic from honey garlic. Such a baby. Hope it helps him get better faster. Yep. Happy Homestead just did ginger Guinness mustard beer. Yeah, but it wasn't mustard greens. It was from mustard seed. Fermented mustard has ruined me for store-bought mustard. I need to try it. I haven't tried it yet. Sometimes I take a little of everything I have fermented and eat a fermented meal. That sounds really good. Ferment frozen cranberries from last year. I eat them like popcorn. That does sound really good. I about killed myself on kefir when I first started. Yeah. Milk kefir is the most powerful probiotic food on earth, at least from what is known. So it's got a lot of bacteria to it. So if you start out really high, then a really high amount of it, then good luck. I started the ketchup, some more honey, garlic, and onions. Love it. Do you make fermented corn on the cob? I tried it once. It was awful. We love kefir. Me too. I usually have probably about 3 cups a day, probably. I just have, like, it's one of my meals in the day. And in fact, today, that's my only meal that I've had. Yeah, I think it's the only meal I've had today. The kids had a pint of kefir each this morning. They're used to it. Yep. It's some good stuff. I would love to try fermented turnips. Have you ever tried them? I have not. Which ferments should be kept away from each other? I currently have Guinness mustard, sourdough starter, and ginger bug. You're going to want to keep the sourdough away from the other two. Probably maybe the ginger bug, because it is an aerobic ferment, meaning it needs oxygen to ferment. So it's more of a yeast ferment. So I would say possibly that one, keep it separate, but I'm not certain about that one. Basically, whatever has a different cultures you want to keep separate. Like you could keep, sauerkraut, fermented carrots, kimchi, pickles. You can keep all of that together because it's basically the same kinds of cultures. It doesn't matter if it swaps. But the sourdough is a yeast-based ferment. It's also aerobic, so it's like it needs air, it needs yeast, it pulls things in. So they're going to swap. They're going to swap real cultures really easily. Sometimes it doesn't matter, like with the vegetable ferments, if all the lacto fermented vegetables, they don't matter because it's all the same. So if it swaps, it might swap a little bit of flavor, just a little bit, but not really. Fermented fresh corn is an acquired taste, as is asparagus. See, I've always loved asparagus, so I love it. And fermented asparagus, oh my God, it is so good. But I can't stand fermented corn. It just tastes like ethyl alcohol. It tastes like rubbing alcohol. It's terrible. Trying to ferment hard-boiled eggs. What do you need help with, Robin? Because I know that Joyce from Moore's Patch of Heaven, she just did a video on that one, so that might help. When I have beer and wine going, all my ferments molded. Yep. They're different, so you got to keep them apart. A separate room is ideal, but bare minimum 8 feet. We got hard cheese going today from goat's milk, and cheese is a ferment of its own. Yep, super cool to know. Yep. Beer and wine fermenting is what I should have said. I never thought of fermenting asparagus. It's so good. So good. Oh my gosh. I know they're not shelf stable. No, they're not shelf stable. You ferment them for a few days up to like a week, and then you pop them in the fridge until you eat them. Have you made coconut kefir? I have not. I hate coconut, so I don't like to do anything with coconut because it's disgusting. Blech. How long do I keep them on the counter? You get like 3 days to a week. Alrighty then. So, are we ready for the first giveaway? Let's test this out. See if I can make Heather's different site work on this one. So, let's see what we got here. Come on, phone. Do your thing. I should turn off my ringer, shouldn't I? You hate coconut and basil. Yeah, both of which I wish I liked, but I don't. I have, however, converted myself to liking many things that I used to hate. What am I doing? I'm looking for a calendar. All right. So the first number that pops up on my screen between 12 and 18. Let's go. Since I'm starting ginger bug in a large container with a lot of airspace, will it take longer? Not necessarily. 18. 18. Make sure I do the right one. 2024. 18th. Hidden Oaks Homestead. Pine Needle Sprite. All right. Let's find her video, shall we? I have another computer screen over here. My son bought it for me for, I think, Christmas last year. I'm not sure. Hidden Oaks Homestead. I'm looking. Y'all, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. There we go. Oh, don't play. Copy that. Copy that. All right. And then we're going to paste it into pickawinner.co. How do you delete this? Pickawinner.co. I'll just reload the page. How about that? And paste. Fetch. Don't include replies. Do not allow duplicates. Continue. She got, ooh, it's loading. We got 248 comments. Pick a winner. We have Helen Morozo 7256. Love Fermented February so much. Thank you for the video. All right, Helen, if you are here, take a picture so I can remember to, oh gosh, come on. There we go. Okay, so she is the winner of, I need to find my page here. This book, The Art of Fermentation. If you are here or if you're seeing this later, send me an email with your mailing address and I will get a copy of that ordered for you. This is obviously my copy, but I will order one and have it sent to you. Congratulations, Helen. So exciting. And it worked. I'm so excited. I tried to find a different one, a different website that could pick the winners. So I'm glad I thought to look at the fine print on the screenshot that you sent me. So now I can do it. There must just be something wrong with the website, I would imagine. I thought you were using the same website. And then until I looked closer. The question about the pine needle Sprite. Would it be easier to start the ferment in a pint jar and not directly in the bottle? I'm concerned about keeping the needles under the liquid. I don't know. I do not know. Did she start it in the bottle? She didn't do a second ferment. I watched the video. I have it right here. Hang on. Oh, she did start it right in the bottle. Well, I guess if it's cut off and it has the narrow opening, the odds of it actually being exposed to anything. See, the reason that you keep it under the brine is so that you keep it away from oxygen. So if the bottle, if it's in the flip top bottle, it's cut off from oxygen. So that wouldn't really be an issue. The pesto video, she showed putting silicone lid on top of the leaves and the weight on top. Yes. That was the same purpose. It's just cutting off the oxygen. Her needles are sticking up too, and it was fine. Yeah, it's just because in the flip top, like if you were to just ferment it in a bottle like this without a lid and maybe just covered it, that would be a different story because then it would have access to oxygen. But since she put it in the flip top jar, those are very tight seals, and no oxygen is getting in or out of that. So it wouldn't have access to oxygen, so it wouldn't matter. Started the bottle on the windowsill, way too bubbly to trust in anything but a swing top. Yep. That pine needle strike. I know. It is so intriguing. I was super interested in that one. Will spruce needles work? I have no idea. I've never tried that method of fermentation. So, but definitely reach out to Nicole, and you can find her on Instagram. You can find her on Facebook. And I'm sure she'd answer any questions that you guys have. It is not something that I have ever tried. It would explode the lid. It would explode the lid probably if you let it continue to go for a really long time. But the swing top jars, bottles, as long as you buy the type that is rated for fermentation, it is very strong. Like very strong. It can take a tremendous amount of pressure. Eventually, though, if you build up enough pressure in there, anything's going to blow at that point. But you know, like it would have to be pretty powerful to actually do that. Started in the bottle on the, oh, I read that one. What was the name of the winner again? It was Helena Morozov, 7256. She is the winner, chicken dinner. Video froze right before you started the winner process. Sorry about that. Chaps kept scrolling. Congrats, Helen. I get into reading the comments that I almost forgot to click the like. She's only used to long needles. I asked. She said, no, you or ponderosa pine. That's a good one to know. You can use spruce tips. Get them in springtime. That's a good idea. Can you ferment in smaller jars than quart size? I wouldn't. The only reason is that you have to have a certain amount of headspace, and like the smaller the jar, the less headspace that you're going to be able to have. I guess it would depend on what it is. I ferment carrot sticks in pint-sized jars because it's just easier that way, single serve. You know, because I sell, well, not currently, but last year I sold ferments in pint-sized jars, and some of the ferments were easier to do in the jars that I was going to sell them in. Most of them I didn't, but the carrot sticks, I guess it would just depend on the ferment. If it's something that can easily debubble itself, it's fine because it's not going to grow. But if you're doing a kraut or anything that's packed in the jar, I wouldn't do it in a smaller jar. Small batch hot sauce can be in small jars. Yeah, it depends on what you're fermenting. It really depends. How do we know if the swing top bottle is fermentation rated? Don't buy anything from a craft store. I just bought all my swing top bottles new. And if you're unsure about what it's rated for, keep it in a closed environment, like inside of a box, something that can catch any impending explosion. How long can kimchi ferment on the counter? I've had mine on the countertop for a little over a week. Eating out of it, is it fine for the fridge yet? You can. I like to ferment everything for about 3 weeks. That's just kind of the ideal time for bacterial production, forming of the acids, all of those sorts of things. 3 weeks from the research that I've done seems to be kind of the sweet spot. I've done kraut in a pint, especially new recipes. Cool. With the krauts, they just grow inside the jar. So if you're doing a really small amount in a small jar, then that's cool. But I like to make sure that I have lots of headspace because I don't have the attention to detail to remember to go back and push that kraut down. And so it's just going to expand and grow out of the jar, and then you're out of all your brine. So if you have the focus and the attention or a heavy enough weight, go for it. I don't. I have done kraut in a pint. Oh, I read that one. I live close. What town do you sell in? Do you have a farmer's market? I'm unsure. I'm still waiting on the health department, so unsure. But I will be selling at least kombucha at the Baker Creek events and the Ozark Homesteading Festival Expo. Ozark Homesteading Expo in September, I believe it is this year. I live close. Oh, yeah. Is the fridge filter sufficient for water to use in fermentation? It depends. You have to check your filter rating. If it filters out the chlorine, and check with your local municipal water to see if they fluoridate it. If they do, get a really good filter because that stuff is poison. But I don't filter my water. I live on a well, and we had it tested when we moved here, and I'm confident in it. I drink it, and my husband drinks it. My son drinks it. We don't filter anything. So that's what I use. Love Baker Creek. Me too. It's so much fun to go there. It's like stepping back in time. Wish I lived closer to visit Baker Creek again. Oh, yeah. My first kraut totally made a mess. I didn't leave enough headspace. Exactly. You got to have enough headspace. Can I boil tap water and use it as long as you let it cool off? Yeah, absolutely. If I get a goat and I try to give them rainwater, and if you get, why is rainwater better than well water for goats? I'm intrigued by that. Awesome. I will be at the Baker Creek event. Yay! I'm excited. I will be there. I got confirmation today, actually, earlier today. The well water in the area you live is sweet. I miss it. My well water's not sweet. It took a while to get used to. We filtered it in the beginning because it was funky, and but we got used to it. Maybe it was just we weren't used to it. I do have weight, but it could explain the brine loss. I always check pH because the brine disappears out of the top. Well water is very high minerals like calcium, and they can build up in the bladder stones. Interesting. Yeah, we do have very high lime deposits. Like when I'm like canning or boiling the jars or anything, I absolutely must put vinegar in it because it will leave a coating on there. So you have to scrub like crazy just to get it off. Like you have to like scrub. Like it's not just wipe it off and it comes off. Like you have to scrub. It is the thickest mineral deposit. It's terrible. So that makes sense. Alternatively, you can put the filtered water in a large open pitcher or glass measuring cup and allow the chlorine to off-gas from the municipal water. That is true if you leave it for at least 24 hours, but that does not do anything about the fluoride. My fridge water does fine, but if you are nervous, you can leave it out on the counter. Yep. So that's the case with the water. Totally gives goats rainwater. That's good to know for the future. Definitely. Ding dang R. What? I grew up in Carthage, and our well water was really high in iron, but my grandmother was really sweet. Oh, my grandmother's. I have no idea where Carthage is, but the last place that we lived at in Washington, it was very high iron. Like the water was like almost red. It was so bad. We used to filter that one because we were told that the iron deposits were bad for the men folk in our family. So I would drink it from the tap, but the guys would filter it. Good advice on using rainwater for goats. And ads are going to happen. I have no control over it. Sorry. Feel free to hit skip. Our well water is spring fed and it is delicious. Still has severe minerals. I wish ours was spring. I think I already asked you this, but I buy fermented carrots and okra together. They've been in my pantry for almost 8 months. Looks like it only has the white yeast on top. Would you be scared? Depends on how much yeast is on top. Because if it's really out of control, I thought you said you bought it fermented. I misread that. I wouldn't really be scared. No. Oh, is Helena in here? Helena, you're in here. Yes, fermentedhomestead@gmail.com. Sorry if I forgot to say that. Congratulations. What was I saying? It depends on how much yeast is on top and how much has settled into the jar. If it looks like it's just like a bunch of white mass in the bottom, I wouldn't bother because it would just taste gross. It wouldn't necessarily be toxic, but it wouldn't be tasty either. Sorry, I'm late. There was an active shooter. Oh, yikes. Is everything okay with that, Faith? Oh, my. What once bottle do you sell your kombucha in? I just buy the beer bottles and with the caps, and I just do it that way. The only other option here, fairly locally, are these. And I just can't afford to buy a pallet, so I haven't bought them yet. And I'm not sure what the rating is on those, like as far as holding carbonation, because I like to sell carbonated kombucha, and if it doesn't hold the carbonation, then you're out of luck. I try to give my chicken rainwater when I can. Yeah, our chickens Our chickens just get rainwater because we collect the rainwater into an ICB tote on the side of their coop, and that's just what they get. The other ones are fed from the well. I guess chickens can have a lot of calcium, but maybe not. I think I was told that ours is lime. I don't know a lot about it, but I was told that ours is lime deposit. After straining apple cider vinegar from the apples, do you refrigerate it or is it good on the shelf? I usually keep it on the shelf. But yeah, I usually keep it on the shelf because it's vinegar at that point. Everything's great now. The guy's in jail. Good. Those bottles are pretty though. Yep, I agree. About kefir, I'm thinking about creating a fruit kefir for daily consumption. Tips, steps to create kefir. Thanks for your wisdom. What do you mean, like making a water kefir and then doing a second ferment with the fruit? Is that what you're asking? I figure Kentucky water is good for chickens too. Yep. I don't know. I'm not in Kentucky. But can you freeze dry fermented foods? Yes, absolutely. I don't know what would happen to them, but you can do it. Does water kefir have the same benefits as milk kefir? I don't know. I know it. I mean, just because you're starting already with raw milk versus sugar water, you have to take that nutritional balance, and you have to take this place where they start into account, because raw milk is insanely powerful and insanely good for you, whereas sugar water obviously is not. As far as the culturing of it, I don't know. What is water kefir is like you take fermented sugar water, you take sugar water, you add water kefir grains to it, you let it ferment for 24 to 48 hours, and then it becomes a fermented bubbly drink after you do the second fermentation. To start kombucha, do you have to buy a SCOBY? You have to buy either a SCOBY or raw unflavored kombucha. You can create a SCOBY that way. I'm sure it's bad, but I second ferment my kombucha in recycled 12 or 16 ounce plastic Coke bottles. I do small batches so they don't set in them long. Hey. Oh, plastic. I would avoid that. But if you're comfortable with it, do what you got to do. If you ferment a large quantity, does it need to be put in the fridge, or can some be kept in a cool, dark place? Should you vacuum seal jars? If you ferment a large quantity of what? Does yogurt culture get weaker from batch to batch? It depends. If you buy heirloom culture, no. If you just buy the store-bought stuff and make yogurt out of the store-bought stuff, yes. And the reason for that is because store-bought yogurt is not, it's basically, they just pick and choose a few different ones, a few different cultures that they want that will have the result that they want from the fermentation process. Whereas one that is heirloom, it is naturally continued through time of long-term fermentation over generations and eons, then that one will continue. But if you harvest the store-bought one, it's just a select group of cultures. It's not symbiotic. Might be the best way to put it. Is heirloom culture for yogurt labeled as such? We got some expensive stuff from the Amish store. It's powdered culture. I don't know. Give it a try. I just know that you can buy stuff that is labeled as heirloom and stuff that you can continue to inoculate with, but it's not to say that all heirloom is marked heirloom. I'm not sure. Where do you purchase heirloom yogurt culture? You can get it from culturesforhealth.com. Got kicked off YouTube, giving me problems last couple months. Oh, well, I'm glad you're back. Where would you get heirloom starter? If I were to purchase it, I would buy it from culturesforhealth.com. How long do you like your kraut before refrigeration? Mine's been going for about 4 weeks now. For my own personal consumption, I go like anywhere from that up to like 2 months. Any more than that, and you're kind of pushing the boundaries of like getting diminishing returns on the bacterial content. Have you killed Wendy yet? Who's Wendy? My sourdough culture, the sourdough that you sent me is called Timothy. I don't know where you got Wendy from. And as I believe it's still alive. I tried to make something with it last night and it didn't really rise very well. So fingers crossed that Timothy is still alive. Constance, you're here. Hello. So glad I caught this live. I'm learning a lot. Thanks. Wendy is your sourdough. Wendy is not my sourdough. My sourdough is Timothy. Maybe your sourdough is Wendy. Mine is Tiffany. Timothy, I mean. My sourdough starter needs a name. Absolutely. Sandor Cat's website gives directions for making yogurt mother culture from tops of jalapenos. That sounds intriguing. Sounds like the sourdough had a ginger change. Hubs likes the trout for about 4 weeks. Oh, kraut. It's like 4-week-old trout doesn't sound great, but 4-week-old kraut sounds delicious. If you keep Timothy in the fridge, you need to take him out and feed him a couple days before you bake with him. Yes, but that requires forethought of actually putting it in the fridge and not just leaving it on the counter for 2 days many times in a row and forgetting about it. Sage and Stone, I really like being able to give a gentle squeeze and knowing exactly how it's done. Wendy is my sourdough. Timothy is Wendy's baby. Yes, Timothy is Wendy's baby. That's funny. I didn't know you named your sourdough. Look into leaching from plastics. That's why we get glass for most things, including fermentation. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I've gotten rid of as much plastic as I feasibly can from like my cooking stuff and my supplies. Who's Timothy's daddy? I don't think Timothy has a daddy. Timothy has a mommy named Wendy, apparently. She sent it to me in the mail. So I love my starter and I feed it daily, but is still young. Mine is called Tiny Bubbles. Nice. Phone alarms, wonderful for remembering to feed the sourdough. That's a good point, but something like that, I feel myself just ignoring it. I need to correlate it with something. Like when I make my coffee in the morning, I feed my sourdough starter. When I, like stuff like that, it's something that I can ignore. Like they're phone alarms are great for me, but they do have their limits, especially if I have a lot of them. Hello, Monica. How are you? We are waiting for the ruling. Jerry Springer hasn't called back. I like your response better than mine. I'm still laughing about trout. Do you sell sourdough bread at market? Nope. I bet people would love it. They probably would, but they would probably like it if I was better at it. Let me put it that way. I got friends who make sourdough and I'm more than happy to promote their stuff. The sourdough market is rather oversaturated as far as farmers markets go, so probably not going to do that. I don't have plastic anymore. Everything is in glass. Took a while to replace all the Tupperware. Yep. But yeah, we bought this stuff. It's like the glass one that has like the silicone on the outside to prevent the breaking. The lid on it is plastic, but we just don't. It doesn't touch the lid really. So I guess I do still have a little bit of plastic there. My sourdough's name is Sam. He's going to work out. Got to work out. Oh, gotcha. I have about 10 alarms on my phone per day to remind me to do stuff. Yep. Me too. Me too. I always have a backup and I change it, like every few weeks I'll adjust the time of it, but it's basically just to remind me to lock up the chickens, what Apple really needs to do is come out with a sunset alarm just so I don't have to adjust it. And just every day at sunset, I know, go out and lock up the birds. But so until they do, I have tried, I have looked, cannot find it. But I'm sure there's probably an app that I could do, but I just don't want to have another app on my phone. But yeah, I adjust it like every couple weeks or a month or something like that. Um, I'm more cautious, obviously, in the fall to make sure that it doesn't go past a certain point, because if I forget, they're on their own. They are on their own until Robert gets home from work. If he's working late, like that's about it. They're screwed. If I don't go there, like it ain't happening. Period. Nope, not happening. Sunset alarm would be great. Yes. My sourdough is in the fridge. Her name is Lily. Nice. I need to put it in the fridge, but I just keep wanting to make stuff. So I'm just like, oh, no, I'll do it this evening. And then I don't. And then I'm like, oh, I'll do it in the morning. And then I don't. From fermented anchovies. So I don't know why fermented trout wouldn't work. It would, but it would smell gross. I mean, it would work. It's just, I wouldn't want to do it. Without phone alarms, my kid would miss a lot of school. Right? I thought you said trout to be funny. I'm sure fish can be fermented. Oh, yeah, fish can definitely be fermented. I wish I was motivated enough to get rid of bad containers. I am at 72. If it hasn't killed me, I didn't stop cooking aluminum decades ago. I did stop cooking. Okay, good. That helps me look better. Nice. Everybody can do whatever they like. Like there's no problems there. 72 is pretty good. I don't know. I just try. You do the best you can, and that's about all we can all do, right? Oh gosh, we're getting late. Okay, so we need to do another drawing. Oh gosh, I've had my camera going that whole time. Thankfully it wasn't recording. Hold, please. All right, so I need a number between 12 and 17. The first one that pops up on my thing, 13. Thank you, Lois. Fermented fish just doesn't sound good. Yeah, I'm not a fan of fermented fish. It sounds weird. It sounds like it'll be weird. Okay, so crap. What number did I say? 13. Number 13 is Row & Co. Farms. Let's find her video here. Row & Co. Farms. There we go. She pronounced it so lovely, I'm not even going to try. Collard kraut. There it is. Yeah, it was her video. Videos. There we go. Pause. And copy that. Copy that. Let's see who the winner is. We'll load that page again so I can get a fresh page. Paste. Fetch the comments. Do not include replies. Loading the comments. It's still climbing. 368 comments. Pick a winner. We got Becca Gonthier, 8485. This recipe looks so good. I agree. Let me take a picture there. And Becca, I don't know if that's Becca. If you are watching this live or if you're watching the replay, send me an email at fermentedhomestead@gmail.com, and I will send you instructions as to how to figure out which prize you wish, because you are qualified to win any one of the t-shirts that are listed on my spread shop. I think Spreadshirt, and then I have a spread shop. But any one of the t-shirts that are listed on there in any design, Booch is also included. Booch, kombucha, kraut, sauerkraut, merch, and other things. But yes, you are the winner. So send me an email and I will give you instructions, and we can communicate that way. Yes. So we got about 11 minutes. Trick with sourdough. If you want to make something that day, go ahead and take out a cup or however much starter is needed and then put the rest back in the fridge. Then if you forget, it's only a little. That would be nice. Did you do a peace out sauerkraut shirt? No, See, what happened is that on one of our previous live streams, we came up with the most amazing design that I absolutely love. And I want to commission a graphic designer to make it in the way that we have imagined. And it's going to cost a couple $100. So I haven't done it yet because I don't have money to burn. So yes, it does need to happen, and it will. I promise you it will. But I want to make sure it's right the first time. So I haven't done it yet. I love that you say that. Me too. It's fun. It's fun. It makes me smile. Why did my sourdough starter separate? Because it needs more food. You need to feed it more often. That sure will be awesome when it happens. I agree. It's going to be great. I'll buy a Peace Out Sauerkraut t-shirt. I'll buy one. Shoot, I want one. I have a really great design idea, but the lady who was making some of these other designs for me, well, she didn't make this one, but some of my other designs, and I had asked her how much it would be. She said based on the complications of it, it would be a couple $100. So I just haven't done it yet. Bumper stickers. Oh, that would be a really good bumper sticker, wouldn't it? Peace Out Sauerkraut on your bumper when you burn in rubber. Hope it looks like the 60s. It will. We need a... Is that a typo, Robin? I'm not sure what that is. Maybe we can do a fundraiser for these shirts. Well, people are just going to buy them. So I don't know. It's the graphic design aspect of it. So I don't know. I'd love that bumper sticker too. Hello, how to garden. Yes, on the bumper sticker. Have you ever tried? I have not tried gluten-free sauerkraut or sourdough. GoFundMe for a design. Pre-orders. I don't know how to do pre-orders, but like I wouldn't want somebody to like pre-order something when they don't even know what it's going to look like. You know, like I don't know. I would feel bad. I'm preserving lemons, and the recipe called for cinnamon sticks, peppercorns, salt, and lemons. It did not say to completely cover, but I did my best without using the weight or plastic. I've never tried preserving lemons, but it does look pretty interesting. It has been over a week. Awesome. Potato flake sourdough starter. I haven't tried that either. It's effervescent with no mold. Sounds pretty good to me. I've got a friend who does gluten-free sourdough. Yeah, I know that Heather Cooan, I think she did one in the last year's. I think it was last year's. There's one on there. Gotta get grandbabies in bed. Have a good night, Renee. I burp it daily. Do you think it will work as a ferment or just as a preservation? Probably just a ferment. I don't know enough about preserving lemons to be able to answer that one, but my guess is it's just a fermentation, and when it's fermented, you should probably pop it in the fridge. But that's just my humble opinion. My opinion is that. So I have something totally unrelated to fermentation that I would like the opinion of the chat on, okay? Have any of you guys looked into electroculture gardening? Do any of you do it? Do you have any sources that are good, that have good results that you have done? I'm very intrigued about electroculture gardening. The copper, yes. Into what? Can I give you details of a graphic designer you can check out for prices? I can print the decals. They should be relatively cheap to get it done. Design in. I had my best garden last year. Never heard of it. I think it's whack. I definitely don't think it's whack. I think it's pretty legit. I've done a fair amount of looking into, like, because it basically works on like magnetism and harnessing the power of the earth. That is fairly undeniable. So, I mean, if you're not into it, that's cool, but I am. Electroculture gardening, what? Yeah, it's basically you can use copper, zinc, brass. And basically you can make certain like spiral designs, and you stick it, wrap it around like a stick. I'm oversimplifying it, but you wrap it around a stick in a certain way. Like the northern hemisphere, do clockwise, the southern you use counterclockwise, and there's certain things that you can do to turn it, like you turn the end like to the north, and use the magnetism of the earth and like charging stuff. Seems pretty dang interesting. I did watch one video on from Deep South Homestead. It popped up on my feed today. They were taste testing the tomatoes, and that was pretty interesting. Sounds woo-woo, but water witching, but that works. Yeah, it does sound woo-woo. It just depends on how far down the woo-woo path you've already gotten as to how much you think, how much your research has shown you if it'll work or not. Copper strips help keep slugs out from the garden. Works best in raised beds. Yep, I've heard of that too. My understanding is that you must have them placed properly. Exactly. That's why I'm asking for references, because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. I've been watching some lectures and stuff on it. Many older folks swear by it. Yeah, because they're smart, because they're not corrupted already. Anyway, sorry. I'm not going to go down that track. Hill Mills Homestead makes the copper coil for sale and has videos on it too. If you've got videos, I'm not interested in buying it. I just want, I don't know what that is. Where did that go? Hills Mill. Use copper mesh to deter slugs from strawberries. That works great. Yeah, the slugs don't like the copper. And it's it works in the same way. Like it's got an electrical charge to it. So basically you harness the magnetism of the earth and you put it in the soil. I'm way oversimplifying it. But anyways, you can ferment weeds for fertilizer. You can ferment weeds for fertilizer using apple cider vinegar. Interesting. 3 inches from the plant on the south side of the plant. I've heard about the south side. And then like if you're doing it with like a spiral at the top that's open, then you point the end piece of the copper to the north, and it encourages the magnetism. Anyways, if you haven't looked into it, it sounds woo-woo. Do research this summer on your beds and let us know how it works. Oh, I'm going to. I wouldn't the vinegar kill the plants? If you put it directly on the plants, yes. Thanks for the info. Learn more. I need to keep slugs away big time at our new homestead. Yeah, we went complete. It's right if you click on the little arrow and show more at the bottom of the video, is one of the first links. I made sure it was in there. It'll take you to the store, and then it'll show you all the different designs that I have. How many colors are you thinking for your piece out sauerkraut design? It's a full color design for sure. It's not like 5 or 6. It would be like full color most likely. Sure. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. I love your sister being here helping me too. I missed her last week. The originator of the theory actually did this years ago, but he was doing research on helping people, not plants. The gardening theory didn't come till later. It's been in gardening for a very long time, like a very long time, like hundreds of years. It's just like seems to be like rediscovered at certain periods of history, like because it gets forgotten or abolished or whatever you want to call it, and then somebody else will discover it, and then it'll get forgotten or abolished, and it just kind of comes in waves, it seems. Depending on your longitude and your latitude, you need to understand which way your coils. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The northern hemisphere is supposed to do clockwise, I think, and then southern hemisphere is counterclockwise. Have a good night, everybody. You too, Shanna. The link isn't working for me for some reason. Oh, Tiffany, it's not bonfire. Do I have the bonfire link in there? It's not bonfire. Bonfire sucks. Bonfire doesn't suck. But the day that I launched it, they were having site difficulties. Did I put that in there? It's the spread shirt. Oh gosh, it is a bonfire one. It's not supposed to be bonfire. I'm sorry. I got the wrong dang link there. Hold please. I'll grab the right one. There we go. Copy that. And paste. All right, that's the correct link. Sorry about that. I will fix it as soon as we end this chat. I will correct it in the description. Peace sign should be tie-dye for the shirt. That would be interesting. I think fewer people might be interested in buying it though if it was tie-dyed, but maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Fermented weeds are great for compost. Yes, as long as you can make sure they're actually dead. Weed seeds, I mean. The links works for me, but that's the one that is there. Yeah, it seemed, but when I had originally launched it, Bonfire was having a site-wide problem. Could this electric gardening work to grow bigger veggies? I tend to grow the world's smallest everything. That is my understanding. It helps with the plant growth. It helps with the amount of the number as well as the size of the fruit. Keep mint away from your garden beds. Yeah. Anything in the mint family, it will spread like wildfire, and good luck ever getting it out. Maybe just the peace sign and tie-dye. I'm not a fan of the peace sign, so I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, works great for a pest deterrent. The mint, great idea. And red kraut. I love the tie-dye. I am the peace sign. I know you are. You do you, boo. I'm not going to take your sign. There you go. It's saved for Tiffany's shirt or future shirt designs. Where someone told me about mint 45 years ago. Holy schmoly. Yep, exactly. Don't do it. Just keep it in a plant far away from you. Keep it in a planter far away from your garden. You do not want that. You're never going to get rid of it. It's like planting like lemon balm, any of the balm type things. Like they're related to mint, and they're evil plants. So at any rate, yeah. So I'm probably going to be having a lot of the electroculture stuff in my upcoming garden videos. I have not even purchased what I need for it, but I am going to be buying it probably on Saturday. So in some of my upcoming garden vlogs, we'll be doing some experimenting. It's there because it is the brand that we use on our cattle and the brands that are registered with the government, so it is not changeable anyways. Oh, I know. I'm sure others know as well. Plant mint around your dog pen fence, and it helps control fleas. Good to know. Morning glories are invasive as well. Yeah. They are everywhere here. Never planted a dang one of them. I don't know if the original owners did or the people who lived here before, but it is everywhere. When I got like that whole like 5 hoop, like the ones that we keep the ducks in, covered during the summer, or I don't know what time of year, but it is absolutely covered. All the dead weeds that are on the thing right now, when you're looking at the videos that I'm doing now, all morning glory carcasses. It grows all up the side of our barn, covers like the fences. It's everywhere. Beautiful, but oh my gosh, it's growing all up in the garden up here by my slider here. It's everywhere. Used to pay my kids to pick them. Yep. Lantern flower for comfrey have given me problems. And comfrey's invasive. I can't even get my comfrey to grow. Want to use sonic bloom in my garden. Haven't heard of it. We have mint in our pasture. Makes the cows smell awesome. Plant your mint in containers. Yep. My mint bed has gotten invaded by hibiscus. Does what smell good? I'm not aware if the morning glory smells good. I haven't tried. I'm just annoyed by it. Mint is worse near a garden than creeper myrtle. I've never heard of creeper myrtle. I cover my bowling ball with pennies for my garden. Interesting. Copper. First year gardening, so I'm very excited. Nice. I'm excited for you, Lori. Morning glories aren't a problem here in frozen prairies. Yeah, we never had morning glories where I was from. Like, you intentionally planted it where I'm in Washington. I've been successful with no morning glory spreading. Gotta get them seeds before they land. Yeah, but I don't want to. That takes too much effort. So I just get annoyed by it. Trumpet vine is bane of my existence. I shudder when the morning glory seed for sale in stores, right? My husband bought me a single vine passion plant 7 years ago. Bought our house. Now we have a yard, roof, walls, etc. of passion plant. You should let my mom come over. She has to do this touch would die. I have one called Mother of Thousands. I anticipate that will live up to its name. It probably will. I wish I could have mince infestation. You don't. You're never going to get rid of it. And it will take over everything. I think I have trumpet vine. I'm not sure. Passion plants are invasive too. Bad memories. Mosquitoes are said to avoid tobacco plants. I feel like I've heard that. If you can ferment basil, can you ferment other herbs? Yeah, you can ferment anything. Fermented mint might be lovely with lamb. I bet it would be. It's a sonic sound system that is supposed to make plants stronger and put more of their vegetables or fruits. I think that would work. Mother of Thousands is crazy prolific. Mint and lemon balm in the yard smell amazing when the yard is mowed and the flowers are lovely. It sounds pretty good. I can't even get mint to grow in containers here. Oh my goodness. Nope, they hang out in tobacco. Interesting. So maybe they just lure them away from wherever you are. I don't know. Fermented mint tea. We used to have a problem with columbine flowers, but we spent years digging them up as soon as they appeared, and we have gotten rid of them. It's a crazy amount of work. Yeah, see, I would rather just let them take over. But I don't know. Trumpet vine will overtake everything. I live in Kentucky. We have tobacco farms all around. Yeah, Kentucky's pretty crazy about the tobacco. Oh my, we are well over time and I need to split because I need to start editing tomorrow's video. I have barely even begun. So I need to go. So I'm not up until like 1 o'clock in the morning working on this thing. So I hope you guys have an awesome night. And those who won today's prizes, be sure to email me at fermentedhomestead@gmail.com and we can set up arrangements. So peace out, sauerkraut.